Welcome to the Real Estate and Small Business for Management Consultant Show. Whether you hold a corporate 9-to-5 or have determined that you want to explore the small business realm, this show is for you. Christian Carrillo talks to entrepreneurs and experts in the real estate and small business realms to discover what they do, why they do it, and how they do it to help show you the art of the possible. And now your host, Christian Carrillo.
Welcome back to the Real Estate and Small Business Show. I am your host, Christian Carrillo. Today, we've got a special interview for you folks. Our guest is Brandon Snower. Thank you for hopping on the show, Brandon. We're so excited to have you on.
How's it going, Christian? Thanks for having me. Excited to share my story and give some insight to, the journey, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brandon is a 25-year-old entrepreneur who is the founder of New York's next classic, fun and innovative modern menswear brand and club, Alfré. At 23, Brandon decided analyzing pro-forma financial models on Wall Street wasn't his calling and had an idea for a different type of menswear brand. So in 2020, with only 1 year in the working world, Brandon left his career in finance to learn and build his own company, one that was rooted in the traditions of European craftsmanship, but with a cooler, more fun and relevant flair. Brandon graduated from Northwestern University in 2019, majoring in learning and organizational change. As you all will probably realize throughout this interview, Brandon is a driven, passionate, creative, and forward-thinking innovator, go-getter, and leader, aspiring to bring this generation of men a modern heritage they can call their own. Again, Brandon, welcome to the show. We're very grateful for your time. And you and I were chatting up right before this interview, right? I think at your age, you're really the epitome of what it means to be an entrepreneur and to show people truly the art of the possible, right? So why don't you get us started with a little bit more about, who you are and how you got to where you are today?
Well, first off, I want to say that was probably the nicest introduction I've had on a podcast. So I appreciate that. I'm from Chicago. I kind of did what every just normal person does. They go to high school, they play sports, they you go to college, you have fun in college, you do a little work in college, and then junior, senior year, you're like, okay, like what am I actually going to do with my life? Everyone's stressing out, everyone's super competitive, trying to get jobs, trying to level up each other. I have this job, I'm working here, I'm working in New York, I'm working in Chicago, whatever. And I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I kind of just followed the crowd of, just people that were older than me, people that were my friends that were working in finance or that they studied finance. I didn't study finance in college or econ. I did a pretty unconventional route of organizational change, which is very qualitative and kind of more psychological in terms of like the business world instead of actual numbers and finances. But, I was kind of set on, no matter what I studied, to work in finance, specifically investment banking. And I didn't really know anything about it. Like I said, I didn't take any finance classes. So I was basically looking at YouTube and signing up for programs, like, Wall Street Prep or like, one of those programs to like actually learn what income statement is and what EBITDA is. And it was funny. I got rejected from like 99% of my jobs or my interviews because I would crush the behaviorals and then they would say, okay, walk me through like an LBO. And I'm like, I have no idea even where to begin. So like the technical aspects were like something that I just had no clue, but I kept pushing and I had this opportunity that was presented to like our school. So I got a job and I met the guys at the school and I was like, this is a great opportunity. They liked me. They, all in all, like it went well. And I ended up working in investment banking in New York. And yeah, I mean, that was like my story of kind of college. And then I don't know if you want to keep me, if you want me to keep going. But essentially from there, I was, hustling, bustling, working a lot and super excited. And I thought this was going to be the career for the rest of my life. I genuinely did. And about 6 months in, I kind of started feeling this urge to do other things. That being, or those things, I had no idea what it was. It just didn't feel right. And I wanted to kind of explore different areas and different options and, maybe places that, you thought differently or, you worked in a different environment. And I thought branding and marketing was really something that I thought I could do really well. And I was really excited about because it combined this business with psychology. And when I left, that's when COVID hit. And I was interviewing at all these branding agencies and no one believed that an investment banker could think creatively. So I didn't get any jobs in like a year, basically. So during that, time, I kind of had this idea that, I've always liked clothing, and I kind of just an idea sparked where I wanted to create clothing from a branding perspective and a product design perspective that really appealed to not only myself, but what I would think would appeal to kind of this new generation of men, right? Like you have menswear has been so traditional and kind of outdated and old fashioned in terms of like this classic gent menswear realm. And, that's what I wore. That's what all my friends wore, but it didn't speak to me in the same language from a branding, marketing, content, design perspective. It was kind of doing the same thing over and over. And I just said, okay, why don't I try doing this and try changing the aesthetic to what I believe that would be something that could be like a new generation of this like classic aesthetic, implementing like today's culture and kind of vibe, I say, to like tradition. And that's kind of how I got the idea, and I just went with it. I'll just stop there because that's
I
I could
love
talk
that.
forever.
I think there's definitely a lot to unpack there, right? Because to your point, a lot of times we go through school and we work very, very hard to get to potentially this career that we've always wanted, or maybe it's we hang out with certain folks and their wants and their needs kind of rub off onto us, right? So I sort of had a similar experience where, I got to junior year and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but all of my friends, banking, consulting, that's all you heard them talk about, finance and economics, right? And so I kind of went with it. And you ended up landing, this amazing career. I'd say that, folks would probably kill for, right? You landed in banking. It's what some kids probably start learning Excel in their early teens just so they can make it into banking, right?
Yeah.
Yet it was something you gave up, right, to pursue this dream or this calling that you had. What was that process like for you, right? When you were thinking about potentially leaving this corporate career that you had, did you talk to friends or relatives and tell them about what you were planning to do? Did anybody push back? What was that like for you?
Well, the initial thought process or the initial process behind it was I was doubting myself a lot. It was more of like, I'm going to do some research and see if this is something that could actually work. Like that was always in my mind of, is this a good idea? And is there an actual problem that I could potentially solve? And then I just did more research in terms of studying the competition and seeing what they're doing that they're lacking that maybe other brands are doing well, but there are certain things that are missing that I can implement. And every day was just an iteration of the idea. And I mean, still every day, and it's been 2 years, it's an iteration like of things that I can do and how I can be better. But yeah, I didn't really talk to my friends about it because I mean, I feel like when you say something like that, no matter who you are, you're kind of going to be like, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of nuts. And I spoke to my dad about it. And he's an entrepreneur too. So he understood what I was getting at and like how enthusiastic I was and, how obsessed I was. And it's like, I still have the same obsession, but back then it was super exciting and I just kept talking about it and doing more research, and I was kind of validating my points and my ideas by talking to him. And he was just like, go for it. And I just did. And it wasn't really like a doubt in my mind. It was more of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be successful. I'm not, there yet, but like, I will be at some point, hopefully.
I love that. I love that. And I think sometimes maybe the hardest part can be to get started, right? I always joke with some colleagues or friends of mine where I think about when I first started my real estate investment company, I was scared to form an LLC, right? And I sat on it for like months. But
Oh yeah.
it's insane. Sometimes just getting started is the hardest part, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about your overall journey, right? And like when you first got started, maybe, successes and failures, and like what has helped you be successful and get to where you are today?
My mindset now that I've developed over the last 2 years, and it's something that you develop. It's really hard to have this like innate, unless you really experience a lot of it. It could be throughout your life. It doesn't have to be in business, but the more you fail, just the tougher you are. So the easier things are when challenges come. So understanding how to react, how to think about it, how to get through it. I really believe that to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to have a mindset that is built to withstand all the pressure, all of the naysayers, all of the doubters, the mistakes, the failures that you have. It's literally every day. Rejection, people not responding to you, people you look up to, say something that could offend you, because it's your baby, and it's all right, take that, dig it inside, prove them wrong, but just continue, right? Like you're not going to stress about stuff that you can't control. That's another thing. There's a lot of things that you can't control, and people always get mad as like their first reaction when something bad happens to blow it up in proportion. But if you reflect and see what actually made that happen, you can change your behavior, but also sometimes you just can't do anything about it and you move on, and that's it.
Yeah.
But it's all a mindset. It's internally, how can you push through certain challenges and certain things that you haven't faced before? Because working in like a corporate environment, yes, I'm not going to say it's not stressful. It is, and there are challenges within that, and you have to be able to like continuously, it's harder because you can't really continuously fail when you're at a job, but in entrepreneurship, you can continuously fail and make sure that you don't make the same mistake twice, as long as it's progress.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's so powerful. And I think it's underrated, right? Just mindset in general, because you will encounter naysayers, right? Sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's folks you just have never met. But at the end of the day, I think you sort of hit the nail on the head, right? That consistency, right? Whether it's ups or downs, showing up every day and just sticking to it, right? I think that's what ultimately gets you to where you want to be. And I think what separates those that do it versus those that maybe don't.
Yeah, and I'm not sitting here saying that, you know, every challenge that I've had, I've overcame it super well. You know, like there are times where I'm in a rut for like a month. Like I've easily had that where, you know, you're not eating right, you're not, you know, working out, you're not doing the things that otherwise you would be doing. And yeah, so it's all like making sure that at some point you get through it, right? Whether it's a month, whether it's 2 months, doesn't matter. Because once you get through it that second month, or if it takes you 2 months to get through, the next time it's going to happen, it'll take 1 month. The next time it's going to take, you know, a week. Next time, hopefully it takes 20 minutes. Right. And then, so but it's all like repeating yourself, understanding how you can improve, and reflect.
Yeah.
But it's in your mind.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love how I think you continue to talk about this continuous sort of iteration and process improvement, right? Which I think sort of brings me to my next question. I had the pleasure of, you know, checking out your brand and looking through all the amazing things that you're doing. And so, some of the sort of offerings that you all have kind of just like blew my mind. What is like the overall like branding process for you all? Like, how do you think through design?
We're inspired by traditional culture, whether that's, you know, taking a, you know, like our contrast colors are inspired by like 80s Wall Street, right? Taking that, but making it more relevant, and I think just more associated to the people of this generation, where they would enjoy it. So it's kind of just recreating or reimagining what we feel like people would enjoy, to wear, to look like, to be associated with from a branding perspective, and then from wearing products. So for example, we have a lot of products dropping this winter and this fall. I can't say, but the collaborations that we're having, the actual items that we're selling, it's not going to be the standard menswear collection. So it's more of a lifestyle, and we want to be this brand that people can resonate with from a cultural perspective and say, hey, I actually love, you know, the product that they're selling, or I love the collaboration, the other brand or the other organization that they just worked with. You know, like I want to be a part of that, you know, because that's just something I'm interested in. And we're doing that through fashion. It's not, and that's another reason why I think where we think of design and where we think of branding is that we're never going to be a brand that just wants to sell you product. We're always going to be like, how can we build this community and build this culture that you can resonate with? And we're going to do that through the products that we sell that you will enjoy. Whether you buy one product of ours, whether you buy 100, you're going to be a part of our community. And people like have different tastes, people have different things that they enjoy, and we want them to experience that. And that's why we want to do so many different things and partner with different organizations that have different vibes and different aesthetics, and sell things that, you know, people are probably gonna be like, I've never seen this before. So that's kind of like our perspective and positioning on the brand itself.
I love that. I love that. And, you know, I've got to ask, could you tell us a little bit about your daily routine, right? I feel like growing your company at the pace that you have, I feel like it's got to be crazy.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you?
I think like any startup, no matter if you're a founder or not, it's different every day. And for example, today we're redoing features on the website. So we work with some partners in Ukraine. And, you know, I'm up at 5 a.m. because, you know, the earlier I'm up, the more time I get to spend with them and, you know, work on the design and work on the features of the site and making sure it's optimized and working properly. So that's not every day. That's only, you know, certain times that, you know, we want to make iterations on the site, but it's a pretty big project that we're doing. So I've probably been up at 5 for the last week and a half. So that starts, and then, you know, we're working on a new collection or 2 new collections. So I'm trying to reach out to certain influencers and certain people that could that we could collaborate with on these collections that speak to their audience. And then, you know, creating the content, creating the emails, designing, like we have to do a photo shoot and a video shoot. What is that going to look like? Where's it going to be? Who's going to be wearing the products? And then there's a lot of things like customer service, shipping, fulfillment. That's just all in one day, but it could change based on the day, based off of like if you're featured in a magazine, right? Like we were featured in GQ last week, so we had to like drop everything and you know, send out email or like make an email, make content on Instagram and say, hey, we were just featured in GQ, check it out, and rush people to the site. So it's certain things where it's on and off. Also, we're working on new products, so you know we have to think 6 months ahead, 8 months ahead. What do those products look like? The finances for those products, how is that going to work out? Do we have enough money? Do we have to raise money? Like all these things.
Wow. Yeah. So it seems like you kind of got different hats on just depending on the day, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's kind of every day is like that, but depending on what's the most important at that period of time, that's what you focus on.
Awesome.
More,
I love that. And congratulations, by the way. I think that's definitely a huge accomplishment. So kudos to you all.
No, thank you.
So Brandon, as we sort of near the end of our interview here, we do have a couple of last minute questions that were pulled in our listeners for this interview. So sure. I'll throw the first one here for you. If you lost it all today, what would you do?
That's a tough question. Like lost everything, the business, all my money.
Yeah,
everything.
Let's say as an example, maybe it goes bankrupt, right?
Right. Realistically, I would probably work my way up. I'd probably get a job and work enough to get enough money where I can start another company.
Yeah.
100%. But, or, you know, you can think of a new idea and raise money, but that's kind of a little more difficult. But to do it yourself, to bootstrap, I think is a lot more rewarding, and it kind of builds your resilience up more, and it builds your motivation, because you know you want to start this.
Oh yeah.
So you need the capital for it, and you want
Yeah.
to get that capital as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Going forward, what do you have planned in your business and why?
Going forward,
Yeah.
hopefully hire employees, have enough money to hire and actually have a team. I think now it's really just building the community, building the customer base as much as possible, getting the brand awareness out there,
Mhm.
developing new products, more products, collaborations with more organizations, more brands that we can cross uh, um, co-work together. Yeah, that's really it. Yeah, those are kind of the key things.
No, I love that. I love that. I'm definitely excited to see how you all continue to grow. So, if you could give our listeners one piece of advice today, what would it be?
Um, I think the hardest part is taking initiative, because the the hardest because the scariest part is the fear of the unknown
Mm,
and the uncertainty on, is this going to fail? Am I going to waste all my money? Am I going to have to, am I going to be broke? Um, all these thoughts run through your head, right? And
mhm,
then will others see me as a failure? So it's the ability to internally, because it starts with you. It doesn't start with someone else. Like, you have to say, I'm going to do this.
mhm,
And then you have to tell yourself, well, this is how hard I'm going to work. This
mhm,
is how much time, this is what the sacrifices I'm going to make. I'm not going to go out with my friends. I'm not going to spend X
mhm,
amount of money. Um, but all those little things are little initiatives, right? I'm not talking about the initiative starting. I'm talking about the initiative of, like, getting up early. I'm talking the initiative of, maybe you're eating healthier. Maybe you're working out. Maybe you start a side hustle, right? Or maybe you start an idea and then you quit your job. Maybe you quit your job and start the idea, right? It's all you and your mind, like, telling yourself you have to do it.
yeah,
Um, and saying, I'm gonna kill it. Like, it's the confidence. Like, you have to be confident. And it takes time. It doesn't take, a month to be confident. It takes, years and years and years. Because there's always something more to be confident in, or to have
mhm,
confidence in. It's just, it gets bigger, as you grow. So it's like, you have to have more self-confidence, more drive, more motivation, more initiative. So I think that's the one thing I would tell people, I
yeah.
guess.
No, I love that. I think that's so powerful. So, Brandon, last one here for you. How can our listeners get to know more about you and connect with you?
You could always, I use LinkedIn a lot. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, just Brandon Sniller. I post my journey every so often. I think it's pretty cool for other people to see kind of the challenges and struggles that I go through, and I put it out there, for you to see. Like, I don't hold back at all, because I think it's important for people to realize the genuine struggle of, someone in my position, where you're just starting out. You could be young or whatever, to do something, and then you could go on our website and sign up. We have really awesome newsletter. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Um, and it's just layalfré.com. And then our Instagram is lay.alfré. So you can follow us there. And, I think it's a pretty cool Instagram, but, you could check it out for yourself.
Yeah, no, I love that. And again, Brandon, thank you so much for hopping on the show. I think you truly dropped some golden nuggets throughout the episode here. So I really hope our listeners get a lot out of it. And I'm looking forward to your continual success, my friend. I'm sure you all are going to accomplish a lot of things.
Thanks, Christian. Yeah, we're working on it.
There you go. All right, Brandon, we'll be in touch. Take care of yourself. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Brought to you by Quetzal Capital Group. Quetzal Capital Group works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate while also looking to add value in the communities where they operate. Quetzal Capital Group. Client-centered, data-driven, result-oriented. Connect with us online at quetzalcapitalgroup.com to learn more.